Here in DFW, the market has been cooling significantly over the last 6 months. We have seen the market go from crazy on the seller side, where houses were selling way above asking price in a matter of hours, to now your house could sit on the market for weeks, possibly even months, amidst all your price drops trying to get an interested buyer. So when talking with sellers right now, they're very concerned. Buyers have more options, and they're more hesitant to act with interest rates as high as they've been. So how do you as a seller stand out from the crowd and get your house sold fast and for the highest amount of money? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm Kiel Lindsey, your Property Geek, a local realtor here in DFW with the Smith team, and we're brokered by eXp Realty. I'm a lead listing agent, and I work with sellers all the time here in DFW. So I have a plan for you to get your home sold fast and for the most amount of money possible. But this is a long topic, and so I'm going to break this into 3 videos. If you like what you're hearing, please hit the like button, and also be sure to subscribe so you get notified when I release part 2 and part 3 of this series. So before we even dive into getting your house on the market and getting it ready and all the other stuff we're going to get into, the number one thing you should really be thinking about, especially when you want to sell your house fast, is should you consider a cash offer. Now, this has become much more popular in the last couple of years thanks to online home buyers like Opendoor and OfferPad and Zillow offers. And while these guys are in a little bit of trouble right now because of the market downturn, it is still a very viable option, not only to go for some of the big guys, but there's also a lot of local investors in our area here that want to buy your house cash and help you out. Well, first off, who is this right for? Who should really consider this? Statistics show that only about 4 to 6% of sellers does this solution fit for. So if it's such a low percentage, why do I hear about it all the time? Well, one of the big things is their marketing. There's a lot of money to be made here in flipping houses, and that's really what they are. They're house flippers. They buy low and they resell high, and the way they do it can sometimes not be very straightforward. And this is where we get into the intricacy of why it doesn't really fit with everyone. So earlier this year, and into 2021, into 2022, the last really year and a half, these guys have been booming. Well, because they could pay pretty close to market price, sit on the house for 2 or 3 months. The house would then be worth another 20 or 30 grand, sometimes even more depending on your price point, and then resell and make a handsome profit. Well, when they did this a whole bunch, well, these guys were just raking in cash right there. Well, now the market's shifted and it has slowed down, and now their offers are not nearly as good as they were 6, 7, 8 months ago. Well, this is where it becomes very important to have someone who really knows the ins and outs of this on your side. Because what they'll do now is, well, they're making offers 15, 20, sometimes even 30% below market price. But even when they were buying at top dollar, there were still a bunch of hidden fees and back-end fees and things that you weren't really aware that you were paying for until you got further into the transaction. It might have been too late to back out. Also, these companies are notorious for getting you under contract and then tacking on a whole bunch of repairs and things that the house probably doesn't really need, but you agree to just to kind of get it done. So if you're really considering a cash offer, here's the way I would go about it. One is, well, work with a realtor who can help you out, navigate all the ins and outs of that. But 2, make sure you're comparing multiple offers. Don't just go with the first company that you call, because, well, then you only have one thing to compare to. I can help you get multiple offers. We also have some of our own investors that we can bring to you, along with we can represent you with Opendoor, OfferPad, and all these others to help make sure they're playing fair and not mistreating you along the way. And then once we get 2 or 3 or even more offers, we'll sit down and compare them on a worksheet designed to compare all the offers side by side. It's pretty much the same sheet we used back in, again, February or March when we were getting 10, 12 offers per house, so we can make sure we're really looking at all the details side by side, and you can make the best decision for you. If this is the right decision, it can be great because they move quick and it's a guaranteed sale. But for the most people, you are not going to want to give up all of the profit that they're going to take from you so they can make the profit. For most people, it is much more in your best interest to make a smart financial decision to sell your house on the open market. While it is more hassle, it will net you a lot more money, usually more than you can really turn away. 20, 30, sometimes even $50,000, $60,000 you're going to make more than if you'd sold with Opendoor, OfferPad, or some of these other iBuyers. So you want to pass on the cash offer. Completely understandable. You want to put more money in your pocket. Well, in order to do that, you're going to want to get your house as presentable as possible to a potential buyer. And step one of making your house as presentable as possible is repairs, upgrades, basically taking care of the issues, or possibly, again, doing some upgrades and updating that have been delayed. So the first thing I'm going to put on that list is deferred maintenance. And what this is all the little honeydews around the house, any leaking faucets or chipped paint or damaged baseboards, and all the small stuff that's around the house that is not really, it's not gonna take a ton of time usually, and it's not gonna be big major things, but these could all add up to maybe a weekend or a whole week, maybe even 2 of small repairs here and there as you have time. If you are someone who doesn't have a lot of time, maybe you're busy kids' sports or family or friends, or you just work a whole bunch, this is where hiring a handyman could come in very well handy and really speed you up from getting from not ready to list to ready to go on to the next step. So really consider that, and I have some contacts available if you would like to consider those. Get you a few quotes and make sure we're getting the right person to fit your job. So now that we've taken care of the deferred maintenance, now we need to talk about upgrades and updating. Well, not all upgrades and updating are created equal. What we're looking for are high ROI projects, meaning you want to get, well, let me take a step back. There's 2 types of ROI we're looking for. ROI meaning return on investment. We want to either increase the home's value proportional to the money we put into it. You're probably not always going to get dollar for dollar, but I don't want you to do $30,000 in upgrades and only have that increase the home's value by $5,000. That's not a good investment. What we're looking for here are things that can really either 1, increase the home's value, that's value ROI, or 2, we want to remove objections, meaning we want buyers to fall in love with the house the second they walk in. Not all of those upgrades will give you a value for value, but, and here's kind of where it does, if someone falls in love with your house on the first weekend and makes you an offer, it saves you time with showings and hassle. It saves your house from sitting on the market too long. And right now, if your house is on the market for more than 2, maybe 3 weeks, you're starting to do price drops. And price drops on average are between $5,000 and $10,000. So save yourself the price drops and upgrade the house now. So someone will walk in and still fall in love with it. This is important because homes that sell quickly, typically right now, still will sell at or above list price and not take any price drops. This is a huge win for sellers. So this is important to really look at the house and the high ROI items, the big ones, fresh paint everywhere, fresh paint. So if you haven't updated your paint in the last 2 years, maybe 3, it's time to consider that option. Updated flooring. If you have any damaged or worn flooring, think carpets with pets, any damaged or chipped hard laminate or tile, time to upgrade those. Adding hardware to cabinets, drawers, drawer pulls, those kind of things. Updating faucets, even in the bathrooms, like the bathtub faucets, the sinks. All of these things add up to a much better presentation, not only when we're taking pictures, but when people see the house. And this is what we really want. So, last on my list, there's a lot more than this, but think about lighting, the lights that are actually hanging down, any decorative lighting or lights even in the ceilings. Could they be spruced up a little bit? These items are not very expensive or time intensive, except maybe painting the whole house, but they can really add a lot of pop to what you're looking at here. If you're having any trouble figuring out what repairs to do or upgrades or updates, well, step 1 that I encourage all of my clients to do is get a pre-inspection done. So we are gonna hire an inspector to come out just like a buyer would, look the house over and give you a report that'll point out all of the deficiencies. That's really handy so that you will know exactly what a buyer would see and we can be proactive and fix those things ahead of time. It'll give you your honey-do list, and it might even uncover some big unknown things like if there's any issues with the roof, electrical, or plumbing, maybe even foundation, I don't know, like that gets us ahead of the game and we can take care of those things ahead of time. What you don't want is a bunch of big surprises once you're already under contract. And if you have a really good contract, well, you really you have to agree to things that you may not have beforehand, and you don't really have time to shop around and really take care of them in the proper manner. So I like being proactive in this sense. Yes, it does delay getting to market, but once you're there, it is a much smoother experience, well worth the time and effort. Step 2 is hire me. Just kidding. Well, not really. But hire a professional realtor and come through and help you decide what is high ROI and what isn't. Maybe you don't need to repaint those cabinets, but just adding hardware would do. Or maybe we need to get a stager out there to really take a hard look. I can help you make those decisions so that it's not just all on your shoulders. So this is part 1 of my 3-part series, and today we talked about whether or not you should consider a cash offer and what you should think about repairing, upgrading, and updating in your house. Please hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when part 2 drops, where we will be talking about decluttering, depersonalizing, staging your home for success, and keeping your home show ready for all the showings that are going to be happening. Thanks. Have a great day.